Hi. Welcome to Build Your Wealth with Trajan Wealth, featuring my friend, it's Jeff Jr.
I just got done telling him he was way too close. So.
That's what I do. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you. Hit the subscribe button if you would. Please share this with your friends because there's gold in these here shows. Gold, I say. Gold.
Gold.
Gold. You like gold, by the way?
Love gold.
Love gold.
Are you saying as an investment or just love gold?
Just in general. Is gold a good investment?
It changes, right? It does. Mm-hmm. If the dollar's falling, gold is good.
So, so when do you go, I better go buy gold? So when the dollar's falling.
If you're going to buy gold, which we're not what we call gold bugs, we're not big gold bugs around here, but if the dollar is falling, that's the best time to buy gold or any commodity like
How's the dollar doing? I mean, the date, it changes every day.
It does, yeah.
But it's not like a big change right now, right?
No. Mm-mm. Okay. Mm-mm. I mean, there's a little fear of interest rates spiking.
Yeah.
But time will tell.
Okay.
Time will tell.
People are, they watch this show, they're thinking about retirement, whether they're a few years out, many years out, or getting real close. And I'm guessing there's some mistakes that people make when they retire. And I know how long have you been helping people retire properly?
A little over 2 decades.
You're that
gosh,
old.
I don't look that old.
No, you don't. You don't. I mean, you look, for 65, you look good.
Thank you. Just saying I moisturize daily, right?
No, he's much younger than he's way younger than me. That's one of the things where you go, man, a guy like that with that kind of suit, he's way younger than you. What am I doing wrong? Well, this is why I do this show. I want to learn what I'm doing wrong. So you've been doing this for a couple of decades, and are there consistent things that people make mistakes?
Sure. Yeah, there's a bunch of mistakes that people make.
What kind of things do you see generally?
I'll start easy by saying emotional decisions. By allowing their decisions to.
I got to get Bitcoin now. It's going up.
That's right.
Yeah.
They're trying to keep up with the Joneses, or they see something on TV. Everything is going up, so they invest without knowing anything about that investment. Again, Bitcoin is a good example. Not saying Bitcoin is bad, but people just invest in this stuff. That's because what other people are doing, and because they see it on TV one day and it's up 30% one day.
Right. What about watching those cable channel shows? And we talked about this before, but why isn't it a good idea to hey, they did a story in this stock. It looks like it's going up. Why not buy it right then? Is that
Well, I don't know that's necessarily bad, but it's a matter of diversifying your assets and making sure that you understand what it is that you're buying. Because all too often, people, again, allow their emotions to rule their decisions, and they're going to buy it because it has went up, or other people have made money on it.
Or Jim Cramer hits the buzzer, it's a good one.
Or it's just a matter of market timing. And market timing just has never worked. You're much better off, if you're investing over a long period of time, to have a broad, diverse pool of investments that you understand and that you know about and that you're confident in, and then don't look at it every day and don't make these emotional decisions.
What do you talk about market timing? What do you mean by that?
Well, it's just timing the market. Try to time it by getting in at the right time and getting out at the right time. We see more market timing when it comes to the market is falling or the market is going down, and people have a tendency to want to sell to cut their losses at that point. But there's no assurance how much further is the market going to fall.
Right.
So when you try to market time, you really have to time it right twice. It's just not once, it's really twice. So you have to get out at the right time, but then you also have to know when to get back in. So we've seen people, even today, that are still out of the market because of what happened to them in 2008. People are still out of the market a year and a half later after COVID because of what happened in March of last year. And so you just missed.
And had they held that, they would have.
Have they held that, it would have been a different story. All of us are guilty of attempting to market time and making emotional decisions at one point. But that's why I know enough at this point. Just don't do it. Just don't get involved in it. Invest for the long term and understand what it is that you're buying. Okay. So that's probably the single biggest mistake out there. I've heard a lot of people say, I'm never touching any investments in the stock market whatsoever. Well, the only reason they're never getting into the market whatsoever is because more than likely they made a poor decision to buy something because of Uncle Gus's recommendation at one point, and then they sold at the wrong time as opposed to holding it. So they didn't really understand, which is another mistake, what they were getting into in the first place.
All of these reasons are why you want to deal with somebody that kind of has an idea of what they're doing, which is what Trajan Wealth does, right?
Yeah, that's right. And that's another mistake, is just not seeking financial advice. So the advice that oftentimes we find people going after is a relative of the family, which I can appreciate because we do trust our family inherently, but it doesn't necessarily mean they know what's going on. Or we're going to turn to a coworker, maybe because they have a 401k and we believe they know what's going on within their 401k.
Right.
So not seeking advice sooner than later is another very common mistake.
Why go to Trajan Wealth instead of Uncle Gus? What makes you better?
Well, because this is what we do day in, day out. Our goal is to understand our clients' risk tolerance and time horizon and what really their objectives are, and to also get to know you on a little deeper level, which is to understand your emotional tolerance. You know, oftentimes Uncle Gus is going to say, buy this or do this without understanding the complete picture. So we really attempt to get to know our clients and understand really what makes you tick and what your ultimate goals are for this money. Right. It's not just a short-term deal.
Yeah, that's one of the things I've noticed by just kind of hanging out in the office, that you guys really do customize it for everybody. Your advisors get to know the folks. They come in and they talk to them, they spend a little time with them and get to know them a little bit more than just, okay, this is how much money you have, we're going to give you the X plan and just run with it.
That's right. Yep, yeah. That's right. And that's why it just gets me when some advisors say, we hate annuities, or we don't do annuities, they're horrible. Well, they're not horrible for everybody. They're horrible for some people. But when you have a financial advisor that completely eliminates an investment altogether because they believe it's horrible, maybe for themselves, which it may be. You know, I have clients who ask me, Jeff, do you have an annuity? My answer to that is no. Okay. I'm in my mid-40s. I probably wouldn't recommend an annuity for many people in their mid-40s.
Why?
Well, because an annuity is designed for income. That's really what the intention is. It's designed for preservation of principal. If you're afraid of the market and you don't want to lose money because maybe you have a short time frame before you retire, or if you want a guaranteed income stream. So somebody like me, an annuity isn't right for. But when other advisors say, I hate this, or I don't do this, or I don't do that, it just kind of contradicts the whole fiduciary theme, because the situation is really dependent on the client, not the advisor.
Right. Would an annuity be something, I don't want to get off track too much, but more for like you get it for your child and you put in money and build it up early, or is it something other than that?
If you're going to buy something for your child, I'd recommend more of the stock market, more of a stock market as opposed to an annuity. Annuities are generally more conservative. They typically don't keep up with the stock market over a long period of time. They're typically more conservative, designed for preservation and also designed for an income stream. So if you're looking for something for a child or a kid or a grandkid, I'd recommend the stock market. The stock market has proven to outperform inflation the best over a long period of time. But once again, it goes back to these mistakes. Don't buy something just because you saw it on the news or just because your neighbor says it's good. Buy something that is a long-term investment that you can hold. Disney is great for kids. Apple, gosh, they've got Apple phones. We're recording off an Apple phone right now. Yeah. Companies like these that are staples. Amazon is another good one. So buy something that's
expensive,
solid.
Though, right?
They are, yeah, they are. I mean, Apple's about $150, give or take, right now, so it's not too bad. I mean, Amazon is up to about $3,500 now, so it's a little bit more expensive.
And that Bitcoin's at like 30,000 or something crazy.
Bitcoin's at 30,000. But again, you have to go back to, why is it at 30,000? What is it? Do we really even understand it? So it's a matter of understanding the companies. I could go on and on all day.
Which is one of the reasons why you want to go to TrajanWealth.com and work with some of Jeff's advisors. These are the kind of conversations you guys sit around in the office and have, isn't it?
For sure. Yeah, I mean, it's fairly well known around the office, the common mistakes. And now it's a matter of just educating our clients and setting proper expectations. So I've said a million times before, we have hearts of teachers, and really this is our passion. This is what we do. We enjoy educating. You know, I'd say we're definitely teachers. That's what we are here.
Are there any mistakes that people, I mean, they didn't think about, and it just, and you see it all the time, and you go, oh boy, here it goes, and they just kind of, I don't know, it's just kind of like not one that's is clear.
Well, I'd say one that's probably not as clear is establishing systematic investments is one that a lot of people don't do. So oftentimes what we have is people who are, maybe they're saving in their 401k, but they don't have anything beyond their 401k. They may look at their 401k and say, all right, this is good enough. I have a payroll deduction and I'm investing in my 401k. But one thing about that 401k is when you go to withdraw that money from the 401k, guess what happens?
Take out taxes.
You have to pay taxes on it.
So I'm listening.
Right. So you might be retired, and you might be under the impression, when I retire, I'm going to be in a lower tax bracket than what I am today.
Right.
Who knows? It's probably unlikely you're going to be in a lower tax bracket because you're going to be taking money out of your 401k to replace what you were receiving in your paycheck, which is going to be taxed. And then once you get to age 72 and a half, you have what's called RMDs, required minimum distributions, and the government is going to force you to start taking that money out. The reason they want to force you to start taking that money out is because you haven't paid taxes on it yet.
Force you to pay them taxes.
So they want to tax you before you die. So there is other investments that you should be getting into. So establishing a systematic investment. And also know that wealth generally isn't accumulated in one big event.
Okay.
Meaning you're not going to get a raise at work for $1 million. And then you're oh great, now I can take this $1 million and invest it. You're going to get a raise at work in incremental in portions, right?
Okay.
A 3% raise or a 5% raise. Maybe if you're really lucky, a 10% raise. But now it's a matter of being disciplined and taking that extra 3% or 5% and investing it elsewhere outside of your 401k.
Right.
Like a Roth, which we mentioned, or maybe an individual account. All these accounts have different tax advantages, and that's where seeking the advice of a professional financial advisor or fiduciary advisor like ourselves can really benefit you.
You know, there's so much, and I would love to go for another hour on this, and you could do it easily.
Right.
But that's why you want to get with one of Jeff's team members and just sit down and talk with them. You ask them the questions that you have. I've asked a few that I thought that you might want to have, but you know, you've probably got a lot of other questions that you need to ask to make sure that you and your family are taken care of. So do yourself a favor. Not only hit the subscribe button, but go to TrajanWealth.com. See what's going on there, look at the website, and then give a call. No matter what state you're in, Trajan Wealth can help.
That's right. Yep, we're registered nationally, so we can help you no matter where you're at.
All right. Hey, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you. We'll catch you next time. Hit the subscribe button. Subscribe. And we'll catch you next time. I'm Rusty Humphries for Jeff Jr., and this is Build Your Wealth with Trajan Wealth featuring Jeff Jr.
Rusty Humphries is a paid endorser. Advisory services through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Estate planning services through Trajan Estate.